Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Derek. Derek is from Washington, D.C., in the USA. So let's see what Derek has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Derek. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I was surprised to see you on Instagram, and I'm very thrilled to have the opportunity.
The pleasure's all mine. So, tell me, how's your day going so far?
So far, so good. I had a busy weekend. I was at my best friend's wedding for Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday was like a recovery day. So today's been getting back to work, running around the house, getting things cleaned. But I'm really happy it's been productive.
That's amazing. So, tell me, what was the highlights of the wedding for you?
Oh, I mean, this wedding was an interesting one because it was the easiest wedding I've ever been to. And I mean that in like a couple of different ways. Like the whole thing did go smoothly. That's one thing. I'm not just talking about like operationally it was easy. I meant the people that were there were all on the same page. And it was one of the most genuine, single-minded celebrations of two people that I've ever seen. So like there were moments during this wedding. I think the highlight probably is at the reception dinner, the last song they played for the night. Uh, was Country Roads. I don't know if you're familiar with it. A lot of people are. And every single person who was on the dance floor wound up forming a circle and sort of like arm to arm. And we're swaying back and forth with a couple in the middle. And everyone sang Country Roads to them as they
Wow,
danced in the middle. And that was like a kind of a weird, surreal moment. It's cool.
that's amazing. Wow. And tell me, where are you from, Derek?
I'm originally from Long Island, New York, and I've been living in the DC area now for 18 years.
Wow, and why did you change from New York to DC, in Washington, DC?
I was lucky enough to go to school in DC.
Okay.
So I went to George Washington University
Wow.
and then came out of there with an English degree looking for work. And when I found it, it happened to be working for, like most people in the DC area, somewhere in the industry of the local government. And then just kind of kept doing that. And this is where I've put down all my roots. All my friends from college are here. Every
Uh-huh.
job I've ever had has been here. My wife also works here, so we now have a family here, and just it just feels like home. It's gotten quite invested.
Wow. What's the biggest joy of waking up in DC every morning?
Well, I can't say I wake up in DC anymore because when my friends hear me say that I'm from DC, and then you ask if I wake up in DC every morning, they're gonna call me a poser, and they're gonna be like, "He doesn't live in DC. He lives in Virginia." I'm very close to DC, so
I
for the
see.
sake of my friends making fun of me, I will say greatest way of waking up in Virginia every morning is that I have a place to call my own. And so if it's not my kids waking me up, it's my cats. We just got a couple of new kittens as well. And they're scratching at my door every morning. So waking up next to my wife and also with either a child or a cat in my face telling me to wake up, those are the greatest joys I have.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful. Tell me something. And I also believe that you are in the movie industry as well.
Yeah, I've been acting for 2.5 years, and last year I made the move to trying to do this full time. So I've
Wow.
now in probably a year and a few months of full time acting, and
Wow.
yeah, it's quite the change.
Wow, I can imagine for sure. And tell me, why somehow, the acting career, somehow you decide to take as a full time? Did somehow it was always there? You try to explore more deep now?
It's a good question. It's a good question, and people ask me, and they do expect me to say like, "Oh, I always dreamed of being an actor. When I was in high school, I loved to play." No, I never thought I was going to be an actor. Literally, never wanted to. Never occurred to me. I've always loved film. And I have not acted since high school. I had not acted, but I it's a weird story. I don't know how much of a film buff you are, especially not a science fiction nerd. I'd love to know, but um, I saw Dune 2 in theaters, and I grew up on the original Dune movie from the 70s or 80s. I also watched all the miniseries growing up. I read the books. and you hear the same thing. It's impossible. It's impossible to make an adaptation from the books. And there was a lot of reasons for that. I don't know how much detail you want, but Denis Villeneuve is certainly my new favorite director. He put together Dune 1 and 2, and the second one blew me away. And beyond that, everyone on it, especially Austin Butler, who played Fade Rauta, looked like they were having so much damn fun. Just such a good time. And I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. I actually was lying awake in bed staring at the ceiling, and I had this really overwhelming urge to get involved with film somehow. And I thought I could go be on set as help. And for some reason, I decided to sign up for an acting class that night. And then about 2 weeks later, I was in front of a camera. And as soon as I sat in front of the camera, I felt something I never felt before. And I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And I just kind of just dove headfirst into it. And I've been going ever since.
That's amazing. My God, very brave. I love that. I love the story, Derek. I think it's the calling. It's your calling. You know what I mean? It was like calling you. You couldn't run away from it.
Yeah, but you always hear that. You always hear people say that, whether they mean it or not, that that's their calling and they need to do it. And I've always been very skeptical my whole life. I never felt particularly passionate outside of my relationships for
Uh-huh.
work. Never truly passionate. I worked hard. I was good at my job.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll be honest with you, I never derived like joy, even
I,
from my successes. Like I
I
would just
see.
be relieved that I didn't fail. Does that make sense?
It does
And
for
that's not
sure.
always a healthy place to be. Not until I sat down and did my first like tape, or maybe the first time I was in a movie, did I have that literal chemical high from sort of like surpassing my own limitations. And then with that comes the low afterward. But now I know what that's like. And now when people say it's my calling, I'm like, I understand. It's worth
Wow.
being it's worth being irrational about. That's what it
Totally
means.
amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I
Derek,
love it.
when I start the interview, I always ask my guests to bring to the show something that means a lot to them. So that could be a gift, a picture, an object. Is there anything you could share
Mhm.
with us?
I do have tons of stuff I can share with you. My office is all kinds of tchotchkes, but I had one in particular that I really wanted to share. Maybe it's because I had such a lovely weekend at this wedding, and it's got me feeling all romantic. And I had a nice time with my wife. But I have this really cool hand carved knife, and if you can read it, it has my name on it,
Yeah.
and on the back here it has Bahamas etched into it.
Wow.
And so this this was a knife that I got on the cruise that my wife and I started to date.
Wow.
And that was a my senior year of college. And I'm not particularly well known for being super romantic. But funny story about this knife is we got off to the cruise to the shore, and there's these markets and they're selling all kinds of like souvenirs and all kinds of stuff that tourists get kind of suckered into buying. We saw these knives and this guy was hand carving them. He came up to us and he asked who we were, where we're from, and I go, yeah. And he goes, "Is this your wife?" And I go, "Oh no, it's not my wife." It's like, "Is this your girlfriend?" And I was like, kind of. And he was like, "Oh, come on, come on." He
Oh
goes,
my God.
"What do you need to do?" You look at her and you say, "Baby, you know I love you." And I did. I looked her in the eyes and I said, "Baby, you know I love you." And I think that was like this funny moment where this guy forced me to be romantic.
Wow.
That helped to hopefully win her over. Seems to be going well so far. So that's
Oh
my souvenir
God.
from this.
Wow. Amazing. So you literally met each other on a cruise ship.
No, I didn't meet her on the cruise ship. I met her in college,
Oh, I
and
see. I
then
see. I got it. I understand.
yes, yes, and I initially began to date her, and then screwed it up royally. And she rightfully hated my guts for a little while there, and then for some reason, when a friend dropped out from this big spring break cruise that my friends and I were going on, I had the audacity to ask her to come, and
Wow.
she, for some reason, said yes. And then that was the beginning of history, as they say. So
Wow. Amazing. Love this story. Derek, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
I am.
Amazing. You can have a sip of your drink. What are you drinking?
Oh, just coffee. Way too
Oh,
much of it.
actually, I like your mug. Wow. I like the
Ah,
color.
thank you. I'm not sponsored, but this is an Ember mug. So it's a battery powered mug. You ever seen this before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, it's like it's got like you put on a charging plate, it charges up, and then you can program it to set a temperature.
Wow,
Well,
this is
I take so long to drink my coffee. This helps me keep it nice and hot for longer. It's really cool.
amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So, what
Ta-da!
happened, friend? Run the fun questions. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay,
Okay, I
let's
can
do it.
join you.
Right, before I start the interview, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about or you don't want to answer, always can take another one, okay?
Okay.
Amazing. First question is, what's the best advice have you ever given to someone?
Well, that's kind of subjective. You're asking me what best advice have I've given to someone?
Yes?
Oh boy. Wow, it feels like if I answer that honestly, I'd be kind of full of myself. Um, okay. I'm sure there are a lot of examples. I do like to help people out. It came to mind first. Uh, I briefly worked at a company called Bayer Pharmaceuticals, and there was a young woman there when I was there for like one summer, and she had a huge fight with my manager, actually. And
Wow.
she confided in me this huge fight, and she was like, "I can't believe this is happening." It clearly was eating at her. You ever have those moments in life where it's just in your head constantly, nothing you do gets it out, and you're just stewing over this argument that you're hypothetically having? I said, you know what? I bet you he doesn't even know that you're upset. I bet you he doesn't even know that he did something that made you upset. I was like, I bet what I would recommend doing is I would invite him to lunch. Just tell him you're hoping to chat and bring it up gently and calmly. And sure enough, like a day later, she comes up to me and she goes, Derek, what? I can't believe you were right. I had lunch with
Wow.
Ryan and it was a complete misunderstanding. I assumed like X and Y about this situation, and thank you for the advice. And I was like, absolutely. So the lesson there would be never assume that other people feel the way about the situation that you do. And
Mm-hmm.
for the love of God, do not have arguments in your head with yourself
Totally.
because,
Wow.
because the other person's going to respond in a totally different way that you never could have predicted.
What's the biggest joy of being Derek? What do you like the most about being you?
Uh, I don't, I don't get angry or stressed the same way that other people seem to. And I want to be clear that sometimes is a problem. But like, like some people expect you to be angry. They expect you to be stressed
Uh-huh.
out,
Yeah.
and it can put them off when you're not. And I do try
Right.
to empathize with that, and I do feel frustration. But my whole life I feel like it's a blessing that I stay calm in
Mm-hmm.
situations. I'm a big fan of some of the higher level teachings of Stoicism, and so like it's always been a lifelong thing to just worry about what you have in control, and it's a boon. It's a boon, man, to go through life and not get angry at traffic, right?
Wow.
Just like I feel like just my cortisol levels are just better. Like, um, but I do want to also, I think I saw you ask that question in another interview because I watched a couple before I got here, and
Oh,
I was thinking about my answer, and I was like, it's also something I have to overcome as an actor for the first time in my life
right.
because as an actor, people want to see you get angry, they want to see you get upset, and so I actually have a lot of work to do to tap into these emotions that I either don't have or I severely repress. I'm not sure which one of the answers is correct. So fun, complicated.
What's your star sign astrology, Derek?
I believe it's a cancer.
Yes, sir. Yeah, do you know, it's interesting saying that about get, maybe angry or, stressed out. Did ever someone like through your life asked you, did you have problems in your life? I've been asked that once. Actually, I was like, oh my God, of course I do. This person said, really, I never seen you complaining, stress or something. I said, that was a work environment. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, actually, she made me think, actually, because I never somehow caught myself like maybe complain or moaning and
Mhm.
she made me think. And I was like, interesting. Interesting, that question. She literally made me think about it. And I get your point. Sometimes, I mean, of course, I get stressed, of course, and I have my up and downs as well. But I
Yeah.
think I never somehow came down on other people or somehow stress out easily. And I get your point sometimes, and it can trick people sometimes, and can get nervous as well. I get it. You know what I
They
mean?
think you don't. They might think you don't care.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because also it's not all natural. Like for me at least, I don't know about you. I made a conscious choice to not be angry. I don't like the idea of not being in control. I've
Uh-huh.
seen other people in life who do lose control and they do
Yeah.
wild things that they regret. It just doesn't seem right now, especially now that I have kids too. It's like, how much of that do they take with them when you snap
Totally.
uh, or even just an offhand like shout, like something like that. I just rather never do it. And then they're gonna do it too when they see it. It just gets passed down from kid to kid. I'm just trying to avoid them as best I can. I'm not perfect,
Totally.
but like you, I have been asked by people who will be like,
Wow.
so, like, aren't you? Doesn't that make you angry? I'm like, yeah, I'm just not gonna. It makes me angry. I'm not gonna be angry because what's the point?
Yes, exactly. I get your point.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, describe yourself in one positive and one negative word only.
Hmm.
Stressed. Stressed. I'm joking.
No, no, I'm not stressed. I like this. All right, all right, all right. I want to say nuanced as my positive,
Uh-huh.
but
Which means,
I think I'm interesting because I'm not easily definable. But you know what's funny? I was gonna say that my negative is also nuanced because like the reason I said that is because sometimes I wish I was a little bit more stereotypical in some ways because I don't fit in to some groups of people. And so the same thing that allows me to speak to new people, which is that I'm very moldable, I'm very malleable, I'm very agile. I do that on purpose. I try to stay on my toes. I try not to say the same thing too many times. I try to watch new types of TV and new types of music all the time. It also makes it so that some groups of people I can't interact with as much because I'm not familiar. Like they don't know where to place me. And so it's like a double-edged sword, really.
wow, what's the meaning of life for you when you think about life?
To be guilt-free and happy.
Hmm. And do you believe that happiness is a choice?
Yes, but it is a choice to pursue happiness. It's a choice to attempt to perceive everything in life as positively as possible. Obviously, things can be done to you or taken away from you that
Mm-hmm.
makes it harder, and certainly not be happy all the time. But I always thought since high school, I'm not particularly religious, so I don't have a lot of subscriptions to the afterlife or anything like that. But I had determined, like in high school, I was like, if I die guilt free and happy, like genuinely, like not lying to myself, happy,
Yeah, yeah.
then no matter what happens after I die, whether it's a blink and it's gone, or I wind up at the pearly gates somewhere, what could be done to me, right? Because that seems to me to be important. The challenge is though, you have to determine for yourself and be honest with yourself as to what guilt free and happy means for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are you happy being selfish? Are you happy being selfless? Does it make you happy to give gifts? Does it make you happy to sit around and play video games all day? There are moments in my life where I look back after a moment that I had and I realized that for years I was actually a very selfish jerk. And I was like, I thought I was happy that whole time, but now knowing this new thing,
Right.
I can't, I'm not happy about it actually. And so then you have to change things and try to avoid that and be wise enough to get ahead of that before it happens. That's my personal philosophy. It's also a philosophy of personal growth. I'm constantly thinking about it, constantly trying to be better.
Amazing. Yes, and it's exercise as a daily exercise. When it's when you know it that it's there, always there, and the most you practice, the most it's natural for you. So one point it just become natural for you to watch yourself in
Yeah.
every. It's life talking to us every day. I think every moment, every situation, every feeling is
Mhm.
life testing us. It's life, saying, okay, how are you gonna react to that, or how are you gonna, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I get your point.
it is.
It's
That's true. And you're also talking about, I hear you talking about being making you're kind of coming back to that choice to be happy. And then there's also a little bit of mindfulness in what you're saying, which is to be aware.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Don't go through life unaware. Try to internalize your surroundings, the people around you, what they're saying, how what you're looking at makes you feel. Because there's lessons all around us, whether you're consuming media or just sitting on a bench. There's lessons all.
Next question. Let's do it. You start with the neck. Now you put your hands. Good. You're
I'm getting looser as I get more
getting there.
comfortable.
Before the next question, what's the biggest joy of acting since you start, your calling? Let's put this way. Since you start your journey as you feel the happiest, what's the biggest joy of it?
It's a really cool question because okay, so you know the term honeymoon period?
I heard, but I don't remember the explanation of it.
Yeah, usually it's a term used to describe people in relationships. All right, but it's
Ah,
talking
okay.
about the beginning of something when it's new and it's exciting. So that's the
Yeah.
honeymoon period is when it's brand new, it's exciting, and you have a lot of like chemical high happening in your head and your body. And then the implication
We
is
want
that
to be there all
eventually,
the we want to be there all the time, the honey period. I want to be there all the time.
I
It's
wish.
impossible. It's
Well, that
impossible.
is it possible? Well, let me put it this way. For acting, I do still feel more of that joy than anything before, but I'm aware I had these I have to confront this feeling because you can't act all the time,
Hmm.
no matter how much you want to be. I'm sure if I tried, I could make my own content and I could be doing stuff, but I have other things I want to do as well. And I had to ask myself a question. I said, excuse me. I said, what is the when I'm not on set in front of a camera, what does acting mean for me?
Good
Because
point.
I think if you had asked me 6 months ago, what is the joy of acting? I would have said the act itself, getting in front of
Hmm.
camera and bringing an emotion to life and really connecting with your scene partner and having this crazy confluence of the talent of like every single person involved. And you have this out of body experience where you no longer feel like it's really you who's standing there and you can almost watch yourself and say that was really good like but now I have to say well that's very selfish. True, I do love acting, it does bring me joy, but it's also very selfish. What is acting? Why am I doing it?
Mm,
Besides just because if it just makes me happy I could do it for fun.
yeah.
I don't have to try to make a career out of it because this is one of the most brutal and difficult careers I think a person can choose to pursue. The chances of success are statistically ridiculously small. And I'm still chasing that answer. I'm trying to build a community. So I'm trying new things. So I've been attending more of my friends' productions, just trying to help out, reviewing scripts, going to set, learning new jobs with my friends, going to their film showings, like just trying to be there, be present,
Hmm.
because it's an art form. And the art form means things to different people. So
Totally.
like I had a film showing a couple weeks ago at a film festival, which was about the town where the film was showing. And watching it in that room with a lot of the people I realized in that room were locals. And the movie was
Mm,
talking about things that had happened in their town over the last 100 years. And a lot of them were nodding their heads when the film was showing it. And I was like, this is the stuff their parents told them. Like this is their houses that were flooded and this is their town where the businesses were all boarded up, and now they're reaping the reward of a new revitalization in this town. It's beautiful, and I was like, that's what this is about. It's really about telling a story that resonates with people, that teaches them lessons, or evokes emotions that they can't get anywhere else. So that's the real joy of acting.
Wow, great. Next question is, what has been the happiest day in your life so far, and why you consider that?
I I want to say it's when I had my first kid. I mean, and you know, it's really funny. It was not the day he was born was great. Do you have
Mhm.
children?
I don't, however, had a 7-year-old godson. That's
Okay.
it's my son.
So the reason I'm asking is because um the actual act of like having a kid from a wife especially, I mean, come on, for me it was almost nothing compared to what she went through, but it's exhausting. It's crazy.
You know,
And it's a ridiculous environment. And so like you don't get a chance to breathe. And suddenly there's a baby and then you have to like feed it and you bring him home and you're like, ah. But at some point in the next few weeks after I had my first son, I realized a new emotions, you know,
wow, wow,
a new level of selflessness that I think a lot of parents can probably relate to, which is like, oh, this is now the most important thing in my life. Like, and now I'm not going to be brushing just my teeth for a long time. I'm going to be brushing his teeth and my daughter's teeth, and now I'm brushing 3 sets of teeth every morning. It's going to be like that for years. It's a crazy feeling.
oh dear, I love it. Tell me
Mm.
something. I love the way you express yourself, through live events. You know what I mean? That's I think parenting is 24-hour work. It never stops, and every age is a new challenge, a new thing. So I was watching this interview the other day about this, this actress back in Brazil, and she said, it's a life duty. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah.
though when they go out of your home, when they start adult life, it's a different words in your head. So it's always
Yeah.
there. It's always,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's yeah, and the sooner you accept it and as graciously as possible, the better off your whole family's going to be.
yeah,
Now there's some resistance. You have to let it let go. You do.
totally.
I mean, I miss the days. I think my wife and I were just driving back from this wedding, and it was Sunday, and we're like, man, I remember the days when we would just go home and the house would be clean already because we're not dropping stuff on the floor, and then we would just sit and watch TV for like 6 hours. Woo, I miss that. Haven't done that in a long time, man. But it's replaced by something else.
For sure, for sure. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Mm.
All your moves.
I am very white. It's true.
All right. Next question is, what are you most passionate about besides acting?
Uh, well, I have to say, besides acting, so I'm a huge nerd,
Mhm.
giant nerd. I love science fiction. I love video games. I love movies. If I turn my camera around, you'd see I have models from all my favorite like IPs. I have right over there. I have a book of all the cool like spaceships and tanks and stuff from Star Wars. I'm like loaded with this kind of stuff, and I could talk your ear off, man. If you want to talk about Lord of the Rings, like Warhammer, anything like that, I can do it for ages. Because what I love to do is uh, learn as much about fake history as I can. Like the more
Right.
world building has been done,
Uh-huh.
the more I listen to it, and I just like I don't know. It's kind of like a network effect. It's like it's all sit in my head. I have all these connections ready to go. So I've learned, Stephen Colbert is also like a huge Lord of the Rings fan. There's people out there who just love fake stuff. I love fake stuff. I love it.
What to be the title of your memoir one day?
Good intentions. The Derek Valet story.
Wow.
I
And
mean,
when people read your memoir, what's something that would you like people to take with them?
that there's not one answer to the questions you're facing in life.
Mm,
You might have like what you feel is the best answer. But there's more than one way to solve a problem. And that answer also has like an expiration date. It's only relevant to the environment that you're in at that moment. And
mhm.
history has wisdom available to us. It's been told to you by your parents, by your friends. It's been told to you by books and movies. It's in your religious text. it's all there, but you have to be smart enough and sort of like wise enough to know what to pick and when to help you in your situation. But the answers are there, and you're not the only one who's had to deal with it. Your situation is not unique. There's someone else out there who's gone through it at some point in history or something close to it, and you don't
100%.
have to figure it all out by yourself. That's, I think, what the biggest lesson I hope my memoir would be like. Just keep trying to learn. Keep learning.
Wow. And what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from your kids so far?
Uh, to let yourself be silly again.
Oh, nice one. That's nice.
Yeah, man. It's it is funny because when you start acting, you do. There's some very famous quotes from some very famous acting instructors who say that kids are the best actors because when you ask them to do something, they don't hesitate, they don't question. They might ask who is Anne Boleyn, but once you tell them, they immediately go blah, 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 and they get into it, and they're all they believe it instantly. But even if I wasn't acting, and I have to say I only acted for a little while, my kids being goofballs told me it's okay to be a goofball again. And they're only going to do that for so long before the pressures of the real world and growing up and needing to be professional and put together starts to change them the same way that it changes a lot of us as we get older. And
Wow.
so if I can, uh, I'm not ashamed to talk about my hobbies anymore. I'm not ashamed to make like a fool of myself anymore. And
Amazing.
life is just so much more fun. Like I was out there on the dance floor this weekend, and I had people
Mm,
come up to me, and I had at least one person make comments about, how about my dance moves, and I don't care. I was like, I'm having fun, man.
I
Like
love
this is
it.
just what it's all about.
Totally. I think living our authentic life is the only way to do for me, in my opinion. There's no other way. You need to live the way you are. Do whatever you feel is great for you, it's good for you, you know what I mean? Without any judgment around. I think it's great.
Yeah,
So when you realize that, I think first of all, you just feel, light in your shoulders. Just feel like, oh my God, it's amazing to be able to do that. I get your point. I think it's the only way to
yeah,
go. It's the only way to get to
that's
for
it.
sure. Yeah,
I think it's a good way to live, and it's a
totally,
lot. It's a lot more fun than
totally.
buttoning up. I'll tell you that.
Last question, ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Last one. For the last question, let's do a little game. So let's pretend that you got in your hands the biggest budgets in the world. So for you, money is not a problem. You're gonna put
Hmm.
together like a play or a short movie, anything. You're gonna be on it as well, and you can choose anyone. You can cast anyone to play your mom, any other to play your dad on this project, a love interest, a romantic partner, and also a big boss, a director or a producer, anyone to help you to put all this, this event together. So tell me those names.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, it's got to be a science fiction film, obviously,
Okay.
and so it's gonna have some real gritty tones. So I'm gonna say again, I'm either gonna go to my friend Christopher Nolan, or I'm gonna get on the phone with Denis Villeneuve, and we're gonna get a script and a team together. Who are the actors who I'd love to work with like the most? Um, we're gonna go with. I've always respected Ava Green's work. I loved her in.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her in Kingdom of Heaven. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and Ava Green is in that one. So she can be the mother, and then my father. Right now, I'm gonna need somebody with a lot of grit and a lot of a stern hand for this film. I need somebody who's like brave and strong. So we're gonna get Josh Brolin in on the father figure. He's the first guy that came to mind. He just happens to be in the Dune movies as well. And love
Of
interest.
course.
Um, and then the love interest. You know what? I got my acting community here.
Mhm.
And I got people that I want to lift up with me. So if I got the chance to get into this crazy, huge film with an unlimited budget, I'll be reaching out to my local community. I just did a feature film with a great actress named Megan Hornblower,
Mhm.
and she was my wife in that film. And I turned, I almost spoiled the movie. I can't do that, but I would love to bring her back in and give us a shot on this giant movie. We got great chemistry. I know she's an amazing actress, and we're gonna blow
Okay.
everyone's socks off with this film. But I don't know what it's going to be called, William. Do you have any ideas?
Dune is part three. I'm joking.
Ah, well, Dune Part 3, Part 2, right? We're gonna tack it on to the end there and just kind of sneak into the algorithm. Good idea.
Amazing.
Smart thinking.
Last question is, what makes you the saddest?
What makes me the saddest? Um, when I disappoint the people I care about.
Mhm.
I especially my wife. I mean, the thing I want the most in the world is for her to be constantly happy and
Oh,
proud. And so, like, it's a huge motivator actually for me because she has very high standards. And so, I hate the idea of disappointing her. I really do. Like, if anything in life, like little things, like if I told her I would do something that I don't do, that kind of sucks. But I'm talking about big things too. Like, I don't want her to be disappointed with life. I don't want her to be disappointed with family and the things we get to do. So that's like a driving motivator for me is to make her proud and happy.
okay. So your wife, she's watching this interview right now. When you have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message, what would you say? She's watching.
Hey, baby, I hope I didn't disappoint.
Sweet, very sweet. Right, on the internet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to say some words, just one word that comes to your mind. Quick think. Actually, before that, did you say the director or the producer of the movie? We were talking before that would
Yeah,
work.
Denis Villeneuve and or
Yes, yeah,
and or Christopher Nolan. I'm open
there
to
is.
a collaboration.
I see. Okay, so I'm gonna say some words. Just tell me the first word that comes to your mind. Okay, quick thinking. Let's start with money,
Unimportant,
life,
complicated,
fear,
happy. Did you say fear or beer?
fear,
Oh, I thought you said beer. And I was like, ah, happiness. Yeah, okay. Fear. Uh, ever present.
okay, love,
Love,
yeah,
joy,
religion,
nothing came to mind.
okay,
Really, totally blank.
okay, sex,
Uh, fun,
politics,
misleading,
friendship,
important,
desire,
critical,
regret,
fear,
success,
nice,
wish.
happiness.
And one word for happiness.
One word for happiness,
Happiness, yeah.
satisfaction.
You said at the beginning that you're from New York City or New York State.
Long Island, New York.
Okay, so one word for that.
Oh, I was going to be goofy. I was going to say parking lot, but no, I think if anyone's from Long Island, they'll know what I'm talking about. When home comfort.
One word for Washington, D.C.
Oh,
One word for USA.
mm, worthy,
And the last one now, one word for acting.
purpose.
Wow. Let's pretend I'm going to meet your wife for a coffee and I'm going to ask her, define Derek in one positive and one negative word only. What should say about you?
She would say something along the lines of uh, perfect. And then for the negative, she might say, um, I don't know what she, I don't want to put words in my wife's mouth. I don't want to do that. You should
You're
ask her
perfect.
yourself. She should be your next interview, actually, because she's a
You
fascinating person.
absolutely. I would love that. I'd love to have your wife here. Absolutely. And you said that the positive is perfect. So if you are perfect, there's no negative.
I mean, I'm just being humble about it.
Of course, very
Yeah.
modest. I can see that. I like
Yeah.
it. Let's play now, Derek, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's see your moves again. Let's one.
Oh, okay.
All right. But before you ask me the question, what the movie industry has taught you so far?
What's the question again? I'm so sorry.
Being the movie industry. So tell me what the movie industry has taught you so far, being an actor.
Has taught me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I've had an easy life for the most part. I never had to struggle for anything. I was taught very well by my parents, financial literacy. I was given every opportunity to succeed. I never had to really struggle. Um, and so that continued through my 20s and in my 30s with my previous career, and I did everything right. But I always had money. Now, starting over from scratch basically to do acting, it's the first time I've had to fight fiercely for access to money. I always had a
Wow,
salary. I sat on my butt. I did my job and I got paid. Now I'm fighting tooth and nail, sometimes for $250. And for some people, that's a lot of money, and some people, it's not. And yeah, it's definitely changed my relationship. Now, that is a privilege that it's changed my relationship with money, but it's still, I think, a very important lesson.
it's amazing. I'm glad you said that, Derek. I think it's amazing to see someone, who had like a comfort life, opportunities, your parents, they were always there for you, and suddenly you're like, you know what? Let me do something that's gonna bring more purpose in life, something that's again about the calling. And I think it's
Yeah.
very interesting you sharing that because it's inspiring in a way because I think of course sometimes we being blessed with opportunities, support, this and that, and it's amazing. Not wrong with that. I think it's great. However,
Yeah.
if you can, put yourself out of the box, or maybe challenge yourself for something that maybe is going to bring you joy, or something that not knowing something there, it's great. I love that. I
Yeah.
think it's amazing for you to do that. Great.
It's like, it's kind of like asking yourself, like, what is more important than money,
Absolutely.
right? That's what it's about. Because I could have kept working corporate jobs and I could have bought myself a really nice new car by now. Save tons of money, but there's no question in my mind that what I'm doing is where I should be.
That's amazing. All right, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, I got asked this question today, and I thought it'd be interesting to ask you. The question is, what does home mean to you?
What a great question. Derek, it's so interesting the question. I'm originally from Brazil. Back in Brazil, I left my country when I was 19-year old on my own, literally all the way to Europe, you know, just chasing, let's say, a dream,
Hmm.
something that was calling me. I felt like, and I think through my journey, on my own, like, most of my life I've been living on my own. And it's amazing. I think it's, sometimes life presents you some opportunities or some directions that you're not expecting, or maybe not. You can tell that. And sometimes, you just need to embrace it because it feels right. It feels you're right
Hmm.
going to the right path. Love your question. I think home, for me, the meaning of home, it's the place where you are, where you are feeling the greatest, or maybe the saddest, or maybe a challenge. But it's a
Hmm.
place where you it meant to be. You feel like it's home where you are, you know, with challenges or with great happiness at the time as well. And I think that's so clear for me. It's home is where you make your home. It's where you feel like genuinely it's a place where you can call home. And I understand that sometimes your roots always going to be there, your roots or the place where people you've been raised, or family, friends, they're always going to be there. But home
Hmm.
for me, like based on my life experience, it's where you feel you meant to be there, like you feel part of it. And it can be a place, can be a country or a city, or maybe a farm, could be anywhere. But if for you it feels right to call home, that's home for you. So for me, the meaning of home is where I am right now. It's where I can call the magic box as my home, because it's a place where I feel the greatest. It's a place where
Hmm.
brings the best of me, literally. When you talk about, the feeling when you are acting. is exactly the same feeling when I'm here doing the interview. So you can imagine how powerful it is. So yeah,
Yeah,
home for me is where I am right now with my magic box by my side for sure.
beautiful. I love it. I had to stop myself because you said specifically do not ask about your show. My original question was because I could see how much you care about this show.
I do.
And so I saw it myself. I saw you part of myself, and I was going to ask a question that I'm wrestling with, which is, what if I wasn't in front of the camera, then what does this life mean to me in terms of acting? And that would have been my question for you is like, if you weren't actively getting interviews, if you weren't editing the content that you have, what would the magic box mean to you? And it's a really strange question.
And I answer to you what means to me. You said something very interesting during the interview, Derek, that got my attention. Said to me, you during the interview said that uh, you never had maybe the feeling of waking up knowing that you're going to do something with that you meant to be doing. Fun enough,
Hmm.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said to him, I said, look, I admire people around me, friends and people that cross my path when they go like, oh my God, I meant to be doing that. I love to do that. And I
Yeah,
literally, genuinely, I always admire that. And I always ask myself, what's the feeling? How does it feel knowing that wake up every morning, knowing that you're going to do something that you like it? And I
yeah,
said, and I was talking to a friend of mine, I told him, you know what? Right now, I don't have this feeling. That's before the COVID. But I said, but I'm sure one day it's going to come to me. I remember this talk with him because he was doing something that he loved it. He said, oh my God, I love what I'm doing. I was so fascinated to see his eyes shining, talking about that. And I said to him, it's so great to see you saying that. And I can't wait
hmm,
for one day for me to be doing the same. And here I am and I understand, but I truly believe that all of us, we can do different things in life into the greatest, you know what I mean? We think we can
yeah,
pursue different, for example, I could do other things and I still have my 9 to 5 job and I could do other things that I would love it and I'll feel great about it. But I can tell with my eyes, like my heart, like bumping, like this is meant to be from me. If I would see someone doing that, I'll be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's how it's part of me. I think it was written there. William, for example, back in Brazil, like living in Brazil, 19-year-old, I would never in years, I would think that one day I would be sitting, with my phone and connect with people around the globe and feeling the greatest. I would never
Yeah.
like think about that. And that's what makes me like sometimes like my God, it meant to be for me this platform, this show, because it brings me the best William. It's here now, literally, it's
I know
here.
exactly what you're saying. I
Yeah,
completely understand. It's the same. And because now we know. You can't
hundred
know
percent,
it until you feel it.
100%.
You
It
can
feels
see it. You
great.
can see it in other people, and you're like, "Well, those people are crazy about what they're doing. It's just a job, geez." And then, and then you feel it, and you're like, "Oh, I can't go back now."
Totally, it's great. It's a great feeling for sure, and I can be here another hour just talking about that. It's great. It's just a great feeling. Did
Yeah,
you enjoy?
beautiful. Love it.
Did you enjoy the interview?
I loved it. This is so much fun. I mean,
Thank,
talk about seemingly random. That's say yes to life. Say yes to William.
thank you. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did that. And it was very inspiring. See you live your best life right now, Derek. Carry on is the only way to go, as I said before. And you've been brave to somehow turn things around and follow this path. And again, it's the only way to be. You just need to follow your intuition and just go for it. Before
Absolutely.
before you go, if you can share a positive message, a quote, or anything that you live by.
Ooh, yes, I remember. I picked one. I have a quote that I've shared with a lot of people I cared about in life.
Mhm.
From Thomas Paine, he's a famous philosopher, and it was the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. And I
Oh,
feel like there are, especially for people like myself, challenges are relative, right? Like I'm not, food insecure like a lot of people in the world are, and they have their own struggles. But relatively speaking, when you are fighting for something you know it's worth fighting for, that taste of victory is going to be all the sweeter. So when you
absolutely.
are exhausted or numb, keep on
Yes,
going. Remember that victory will taste very sweet.
totally. And it's gonna taste great for sure. It's gonna be the best taste for feet for sure.
I'm looking for it.
Thanks again. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for taking the time. Regards to your family, your friends, keep in touch. It was a pleasure to have you on the show. Okay.
I was going to say, don't be a stranger, William. I'm sure we'll talk again, and good luck
Absolutely.
with your mission.
No, absolutely. Can't wait to see, the next chapters and things happening as well. We are connected. You're part of the community now, so you cannot run away anymore. Okay. I lock you here. Done.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Take care. Okay. Bye bye. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.